trying to get my camera set up here. Had a little bit of trouble getting in. Hey, Joan. Oh, I finally got my homework done. Really? You stayed up late. I haven't seen it yet. Okay, I'll take a look and do you want me to critique it? Some people don't like to be critiqued, so. But I'm not nasty. Hey, Judy. You already have. Well, it's good you can see the things in it yourself, because a lot of people can't for some reason. Looks like my autofocus is on. Let me see. Well, that's weird. I haven't quite figured this Logitech new software out yet. I'm not sure if I like it. Seems a little weird. Hi, Eileen. Carol. Homeschool mom. As everything larger than 5 by 8 in Sketchpad, a multi. Okay. Had a little more tooth to it. Sometimes that's not the greatest paper. So everybody ready for the next session? I was looking at some of your comments, and I think before I get into doing something detailed, a lot of you wanted to do the a cityscape of some sort, and I'm not sure if I think you guys need to do a little bit more on perspective before you get into that, because I don't want you to end up trying a cityscape and then really getting confused and disappointed in what you were doing, and then you just give up. So if you understand perspective a little bit more, I think you'll be a little more at ease with doing it. And it also helps with finding the proper resource for you, or when taking pictures, seeing stuff in magazines or photos or whatever. It'll help you see your viewpoint and where your vanishing points should be, that type of thing. The shapes and lines and measurements in the last one kicked my get it? So I figured out a little exercise for you guys to do that'll help you with understanding it a little better, because I didn't really go into too much detail with it, which isn't very fair for you guys. So if it's okay, that's what we're going to do today. Excellent. Yep, 5x8 is a good little book to use. All right. So the last time when we were doing perspective, I was showing you 1 point, which that's your horizon line or eye level. There's your perspective 1 point there. There is a little easier way of doing this too that I can show you. That'll probably help. I wonder if it's the white balance that's goofing up my camera. Keeps going in and out. I don't like that. Let's see. Autofocus isn't on. Why are you doing that? Maybe my white balance? I'll try that, see if that does it. Nope, still doing it. I don't know. Can't figure out what to do here. Hi, Dina. I showed you the different grids you can do. Those will also help you in, where did I put that other? Doing perspective. The 2 point, I also showed you. So the closest, but I've got a little something a little easier for you. And then if you want, I've got this picture. This is a shot that I took. It's from the town I live in. And this is, I'm actually standing on a bridge taking this picture. So my eye level is actually up here. It's there's a little dam. It's a really cute little town. Hi, Janet. And this is a little canoe kayak place that rents kayaks to go down the river. So if you want, I can put this on Google Docs, and if you want to draw it, you can draw it. I'll put the link on at the end of the stream. I thought it'd be also a good idea to, since most of you, a lot of you have these books or any book, I thought this would be a great way of looking at perspective also. So this could be a 1 point perspective because you have, if you look at this, your lines are all going into a center point. So that means you're looking at a 1 point perspective. So your perspective line is probably in here somewhere, your viewpoint. And you can find out by putting your ruler. So it's about here. Yeah, it's right here. So if you want to go through some books or magazines, you can also do that. Here, it looks like the perspective is right down in here because you can see the top part of the underneath of the roof line here. So your viewpoint would be down here. And you could actually, yeah, you could still do 1 point here, but you could have just the 1 point over here. It doesn't always have to be in the center. It can be over here. It can be over here. So you see there's a line here. No, it is that is the center. So there's the 1 point. This line lines up right here. So if you take your ruler and take a look at all your buildings or inside of buildings, here's another type of perspective. There's 3 point in here too. And I'm going to get into that a little more today. But yeah, take a look at books after you see this, what I'm going to show you. So with 1 point, okay, where did I put that? I just want to show you a little easier way of trying to understand it. And this is what I want you to do for homework. So you have your vanishing point right here, or your horizon. This is your horizon line, and this is your vanishing point, or perspective point, whatever you want to call it. So what I want you to do is I want you to remember in 1 point perspective, all your lines are straight. So let's draw some lines, just every so often. Draw some on the horizon line too, above it and below it. Draw a bunch if you want, in different heights. Then, because this is the vanishing point, all our lines are going to meet up to that. So from the corner of each line, draw lines to that point. Okay? So because this is 1 point, you're seeing the face of, say, a box. Okay? So draw your box. I've got graph paper here, so it makes it a little easier. But you can use a ruler if you want. You can do all boxes if you want, or rectangles, whatever you want. Okay? So then from each point, now you won't see it if it's solid, you won't see it, the other side of this box. But from this corner to your vanishing point, I'm not going to go through that box. And do it to all of them, but always to the center vanishing point. And you'll see the difference with the shape of the box, what you're able to see. Some you'll see the top, some you'll see the bottom. And that should help you understand it a little more, I think. So we're seeing the underside of this box. So if we want to make it into a true box, we add another straight line. I think so. That's the end of the box. Now one point is without this line if you're just seeing the square. 2 point, to get this line underneath here, you need a 2 point. So over here, you need a line to figure out the angle. Might have done this wrong. There. So if you want to just do the 1 point without figuring the top and bottom angles, you can. So let me erase that so you don't get confused. Where did I put my eraser? So don't do the back end of the box yet, because that's 2 point. Well, that one you can because you're not viewing it any other way. But all right. Just getting ahead of myself. So if you draw a whole bunch of boxes like that, that'll help you. The last lines you drew, why isn't it parallel to the first box line? Oh, thanks, Dana. I erased everything. I don't want to know what you meant, CB. So 1 point. So draw a bunch of squares and draw the lines going to the vanishing point. That's 1 point, or yeah, 1 point. 2 point. You need a vanishing line or horizon line. So you have 2 points of perspective. So we can draw some more lines up and down. Is that what you meant, CB? The lines going vertical, was it? I'm not using a ruler, parallel. Yeah, they should be straight up and down, first and second perspective. And try to do one on the horizon line also. The line lines that you use second perspective for are what? Oh, okay, Michelle. Okay, Kathy. So you're saying to draw the point first, then draw a bunch of boxes. For the first one, yes. Draw a bunch of boxes. Draw your line across. There's your perspective right there. Then draw some boxes anywhere on your page. Try and get one on your horizon line though. And then draw your lines to your perspective point. Okay, so because we have 2 point, now we can draw your bottom line. Depends how big you want it to go, how big you want your boxes. Let's do this one over here. So remember this, oh, I did that wrong. No, I can still do that. This should have been the corner closest to you. We'll give you the angle. So it's always from your corner point. So because this is above the horizon line, you're going to see the underneath of this box. Okay, Kathy, so you are saying to draw the point first, then draw a bunch. Oh, that's old. Why wouldn't the other box line be parallel to the original box? Not sure what you mean, Michelle. So anything you see below the horizon line, you see the top of the box. Anything above it, you see the underneath of the box. The delay's bad today. All right. So to find the underneath, this corner to the horizon, the perspective point. And then from this corner, you'll get the cross point. You have to do a few before you get the hang of it, but do a whole bunch of them, and then you'll feel a lot more comfortable with drawing it. That one, I did that. How did I did that one wrong. That one should have been like that. There. See, I can even mess up. So anything on, so if you have 2 points and you've got 3 lines, that's your corner of your box, the initial. Here, I'll start over again. Okay, horizon line, 2 points of perspective. Let's draw a line here. That's our corner of the box facing you, the closest corner facing you. We'll put one right here, and we'll put one right here. Okay, so anything on this box, anything on the right side of the box goes to this point. Anything on the left side of this box goes to that point. Maybe that will make it easier. And the boxes will change a lot depending on how far across the page you're putting them also. The angle will change. Wow, I have a really bad delay. Holy geez. Let's make it there. Let's make this a skinny box. You do love this. Anything with rulers, eh? If you get used to it, Gail, understanding it is the thing. So you have to do a whole bunch of pages on graph paper. You don't have to have graph paper, but it's a little easier. But you can do it on plain paper too. As long as you have a ruler, it makes the things a little easier. Okay, so that was 2 point. And then 3 point is usually if you're looking at a really, really tall building or a pole, or you're really short and you're down on the ground looking up at something, or if you're on a ladder and looking down on something, or you're on the balcony of a building and you're looking down. This is when you need your 3 point perspective. So you want a horizon line. So say I'm looking down, I want my horizon line up here. Okay, so you have your 2 point here, like you would do a 2 point perspective. And then if it's, let's see. Three quarters. Let's see here. Let's see. We want another perspective down here. This is your 3rd point right here. So if we were looking at a box, we can start with the top. So wherever it crosses, that's where your center line is going to be to the 3rd point. Okay. Hi, Kenny. So then we want to draw another line from here out a little further. I should go. Depending on the size of your building. Let's see. Okay. You guys see, oh, you can't see the lines. I'll make them darker. So the same way you would do a 2 point perspective, but on the lower portion of the So you're looking down on it, so you see the top of the box. The only thing different with 3-point is that your lines on the side of the box are no longer going to be straight parallel. They have an angle to them because you're viewing it down. And as it goes down, it gets narrower and narrower. So from this corner here, you want to take it to this 3rd point. So there's the corner to that one, and you want to take it down. Okay. Then to get to the bottom of your box, okay? So then you can erase this line here, your center line. So you don't need those anymore. So there's your top of the box from corner to corner. And there's your box from a perspective viewpoint. Let me take down a little bit for you too. Do you want me to do it again? You got it, CB? You want me to do it again, Sharon? Okay. Okay, so we're looking down on something, a tall building. Yeah, right. Now, we don't want to confuse everybody so that they no longer come back. But it is basically the same thing when drawing. Actually, it's a grid. It's a Janet. It's a perspective grid you have to do for the windows, and that's another. I won't even get into that. So here we go. Horizon line. We put our 2 points of perspective. From this perspective line, it will definitely be redrawing of. You draw a line. Can be whatever angle you want. Okay. From the center, where it crosses, that'll be the corner of your building. So you can draw a line down there and then put a dot for the perspective to be there. That's the 3rd point of perspective. This line, Janet, it depends on your viewpoint. If you're looking up to something, then your line has to be going down here. This is me looking on top of a building. So it just gives you more room on the page. If you got a huge sheet of paper, sure, you can put it wherever you want. Okay, so we want to make the corners of our box or building or whatever you want it to be. Okay, so here, here, and here are the corners of the building. That's what I'm saying for these purposes, where you draw the diagonal line off the horizon line. Doesn't matter for this. No, it doesn't. Okay, so here's the corners of the building. So depending on how long you want the building to go, it could go right to here, it could go up here. Depends on you know, how short you want it. Okay. Or I should say mirror angles. All right, Janet, the third point is determined by where the two diagonal. Yeah, it's the third point is basically the closest corner or center of the building, whatever's facing you. Do the two diagonal lines from the two top perspective points have to be the same angle? Well, I would imagine, unless it's one of those buildings that's on an angle, it would make your building leaning if you didn't. It depends on, maybe you're over a little bit, but the corner's still in front of you, but you're over viewing more of this side than that side. So then you make your building walls. Let's see, we'll put it here. Make it shorter. So then you can erase this part. That's the roof. So there's your building. There's your roof line. There's the corner. Here's the bottom. And those are the other corners of the building going down to the street. So you could, without the grid line, you could do windows. So it's just a matter of drawing your top parts, keeping that there, depending how big they are. Just make a grid. It's easier to make it the right distance down. You do it with a grid, but I'm not going to get into that today. I don't want to fully confuse you. So then you just line up this with this. And that would give you your windows. Did I explain it? Or are you totally gone? It does. Some people have a really hard time doing this. So don't feel bad if you need to watch this a few times. Okay, so you kind of know what I'm talking about now? So if you can do a bunch of those till you think you're comfortable with it. Now see this one here? See how you see most of the front here, but you're seeing this on a real angle. But because I'm standing on a bridge when I took this picture, I'm kind of, the viewpoint is, I'm up kind of up here. Let's see. So see, it'd be way off it would be out here somewhere. Well, I guess I could put it here. It'd be about there. My viewpoint is probably about with the windows here. So this line of the roof here would come to about here. So my viewpoint, let's see what happens. Go across here. So 2 point. There's one out here. I didn't leave enough room. Kathy, on your photo, where you put the horizon line at the water's edge in the distance. You have to kind of figure out where your viewpoint is by what you see. So I can't see the underneath of this, whatever it is, it overhangs. So I can't see the underneath of this building here. So that tells me my view is up here somewhere. Does it matter? Yeah, it does matter in your photos because you have to figure out where your vanishing points are. Because if you have it too low or too high, where's that paper? See if my vanishing to drop properly, you're trying to view the building at eye level, the perspective, the horizon line where you're, see, I know I was standing on a bridge, so I know my viewpoint was right there. Well, viewpoint or horizon line, same thing. I'm not talking physical horizon line. Although it's very close, it would be in here if you didn't have these trees here. See, the horizon lines here, and that tells me, because I can't see the top of see, you have to, instead of me drawing something first, like these blocks, I put it anywhere I want it. But I have to figure out where the horizon line is on a photograph. Because you don't want to end up seeing the underneath of this roof if you can't see it. There's some other photos in here. So, see, this is a 3-point. This thing here. So you're looking down. So everything's going to down here. So this is your 3-point here. So your horizon line's across here. And you're looking down. This is probably up here because I'm seeing the top of this car a little bit more. So it would be around here. They're up on a hill here because you can see the tops of the houses more. Oh, this is a 1-point. So where is it? Where's my ruler? All right, I just lost my ruler. Oh, there it is. So these ones are easy because you've got a straight line, so you can see where your perspective point's going. So it's right around in here because your angles all go to that point. There's another one. See, the angles all go to in here. So that's 1 point. This has got a curved ceiling, so it might be a little hard to figure out. This is one point also. It's centered to this door here. There's a room. So that could be 1 point going out. That could be confusing. Although, could be 1 point. There's another 1 point. That could be 1 point, even though he's looking up. 1 point. Someone's standing probably on a balcony. 2 point, because you're seeing the sides of the buildings. On both sides, you're seeing. This could be 3 point, because it's going up. .2 point. I'd have to figure out these stairs. I'm not sure about those. That's a different type of figuring. Okay, so we figured that out. So what I want you to do, go through some books and see if you can figure out what you'll find. Most photography is 1 point and 2 point. When you get into the real, like looking at the skyline of a city, that type of thing, and they're focusing looking up, then that's 3 point, or looking down at something. All right, so do you think you guys could do you want to try this? And I can put up the link if you want. I think I still saved it. Let me see. That's the link for this picture if you want to try and draw it. Now it's a really, it's a quite long little dam area here, and there's tons of birds in there all the time, and blue herons, and it's really neat. Yes, we do. It's a 2 point because we see both sides. Can you show your finished 3 point building? Okay. Kathy. Would you get the photo of last week's homework and explain the perspective on that one? Last week? This one? Okay. So my viewpoint, because I can see the top of this and I can still see a bit of the top of that, I'm not seeing right on the top, but I would probably say it's probably around here. Now this one, because we're only seeing one side of a square, it's not really necessary to do a perspective on this one. That's why it's good to get into that grid instead. The only difference is, see, there is a bit of a line across here. So it's on an angle. So perspective isn't really necessary for this one. I would do a grid. It's just that you're seeing, see the top part of this circle here? You're seeing it just a little bit open. So you've got your eye level, I would say about here, because you're seeing a little more of the top here than you do see it here. Actually, no, I'm wrong. It's got to be up here. You're not seeing underneath anything. You're viewing down. So it's here. That's why you can see more of this here and not as much here. If your eye level is right here, you wouldn't see this opening at all. Sorry. Don't want to confuse you. So that's why you see this part of the top of the square, and that, see the curve of the bottom of the cylinder and the comb. Same with this, slightly curved. You could go into a 3-point with this, but it's not really necessary. There's such a slight, if you look at this here, that's the corner of the square, but it's on an angle. So see here how much difference there is from up here. This here is also, see, there is a difference from the edge of this cylinder because you're looking down on it. So it's the further down, the further in it goes. So there is a difference. So I would just do that, the grid or the geometric grid would be good for this one. I would only use the perspective for, like, if you needed really straight lines in buildings or automobiles, that type of thing, then yeah, it comes in handy to get it properly done. But as far as non-straight lines, I don't think I would use it. You can kind of get if you were doing a row of trees, maybe you'd want the trunks done a certain way, but it just helps your eye to see perspective in everything, not necessarily just lines, but in everything. See how things get smaller or how things come towards you. It's just a good thing to learn and to practice and understand when you're getting into painting and drawing. Oh, good, Gail. Yeah. But my lines were still off a bit on the box. That just comes with practice, Gail, because this is it's angled too, so you would have to have, see, with stuff like this, you would have to have your vanishing point way out here off your sheet. Yeah, the photo's angled and everything. So yeah, you kind of have to, it's just a matter of knowing it, and you kind of apply it when you're doing your drawing. Because if you don't know it at all, you tend to have your angles all wonky and it doesn't look right. And sometimes you can't figure out why it doesn't look right, and it's the perspective. But if you were going to do like cityscapes and stuff like that, yeah, it's good to use that, because then you get your roof lines and your windows and brick and that type of thing all going the right way, because you wouldn't want like roof lines going up when they should be going down. This is a photo. So it helps to get visualize of the lines of your drawings. Yeah. It gets you knowing how things really are, instead of, again, the thing about your mind thinks the apple looks like this, but it really looks like that type of thing. Same thing with this. Now, if you were drawing this and you want to be very precise, you would have drawn it just straight up and down, but it has got a slant to it. If you see here, from the corner of this to the corner of the photo, there is a difference. So that means this is on a slant. So that's the 3-point perspective, because it's slanted. As you look down on stuff, it goes away from you and it doesn't stay the same width visually. Kathy, do we need perspective to help with scale? With scale? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean, Jilly. like size of things in a drawing. Well, again, yeah, because that depends on your viewpoint. It depends on this, on, say you're looking at a real tall vase and you're looking down at it. So you're looking at a vase, so you're seeing more of the top because you're looking down on it. So it wouldn't be like this. If it was a real tall vase, it wouldn't be like this with the same size bottom as the top. If you were looking at it, the 3-point perspective would come in and it would angle down to make it look, and then this would be more rounded. So that would make you look like you're looking down on it. So it's very tall. But again, that's what I'm saying is you don't necessarily have to get your ruler out when you're drawing something like this. But if you have it in your brain that, okay, yeah, I'm looking at this and this is the closest part to me and this is the furthest away, so it's going to be smaller. So the sides are going to be slowly tapering in. Or if I'm looking at it this way, so say this is a clear glass, this is looking up, so I'm looking up, then it's smaller looking up. If you want, Janet. But if you want, yeah, you can get your ruler out and just do a very light line of where you want that scale to go when you're drawing. I think so, CB. I really hold the ruler. Yeah, you would. You hold it. Yeah, that ruler is come in handy. It does. So it's just a matter of what I like for people to do is just to get used to what the perspectives are and what they do. It helps you see things better. Even when you get in, if you ever get into gesture drawing, that involves perspective, foreshortening. And that can be really confusing to draw, but if you can get your mind wrapped around perspective, it does help. Hi, Azure. So if you can draw the 1, 2, and 3 perspective, a bunch of cubes, do as many pages as you want till you feel comfortable with what it is. That will be your homework. So that's third perspective. That's 2-point. And where did I put the other one? And 1 point. So 1 point, you're kind of looking straight on to it, facing it. You may see a side, but you're seeing the full square of whatever a building. This one is a little bit close to 1, but it is 2 because it does slightly go to another point of perspective. You could probably get away with 1, but it is a 2. So 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, those are cool. I like that too. All righty. So we can put that away. More bits. Oh. We'll get into that one day. Fence spacing. There is a quicker way doing it with perspective, but I won't confuse you totally. What can we do now? What would you like to do? I have an hour left. Just working and lurking today. Thanks for drawing lessons. I've been enjoying. Oh, good. Thanks, Norma. Yeah, I know what it's all about, Gail. Start the bridge. Start the bridge drawing. Oh, the picture? Where'd it go? The only problem with that, it's so hard to see. No, that's not it. Where did I put it? Okay, just lost it. Oh, there it is. Piece of paper. Kind of hard to get everything in. Camera's all wonky. There. So how I would draw it as a sketch type thing for a sketchy. Okay, let's try it on one point because it's so minute. The perspective, so it's close, but it's not right on. So in my picture, the corner closest to me is about, excuse me, about 3/4 or a third. And let's see, yeah, this is the same size sheet. And it is, let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 4.5. 1, 2, 3, half is right there. So 4 is my so my 1, 2, 3, 3 down, 3 inches down is my viewpoint. So right there. That's my viewpoint. And I think it's 11. Yeah, 11. So 5.5. Is there. So 6.5 from the edge would be my corner. If you want to do it exactly, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. There's my corner. So here's the corner that I'm looking at. See, there's such a slight, it is there, but it's slight. See, just a smidgen. So not much. So we have, you can measure it if you want. Depends on, how you want to go about. 1.25. From there. blanket. Sounds good, Jen. Where would you put horizon line and the points? All right. Where did I put my paper? This will give me my center point so I know where to put the peak of the roof. And it is, I can measure it on the paper too. Stack here. Yeah, no, I work. too low. It's about the same as 1 inch and 1/8. So about there. And inch and that. So here. So it's kind of hard to see what's going on inside here, but let's see, we have a truss going down here on an angle like that. Wrong. That. Then this. Like or an angle. taller. Wrong angle. See, you made a wrong angle. Yeah, it is for this, that's for sure. This is all grass up here. And there's a nice straight line here. This is all weeds. Then put it here. And here. This here. There's a post here. Not sure what's in here. Can't really see it. This goes like that. And then you can see the ground on the other side. Poles going down. All right. It's my center. And it looks like we have 3 windows centered. So we're gonna I'm guessing. Looks like that comes down more. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. do have an overhang here. Needs to go on. The windows are almost to the top. And there's trees. Water line. Trees falling in here. This is water. There's some birds in there. Get rid of some of these lines now. Sometimes when you're doing a sketch, like for, watercolor and ink, it looks nicer if you don't make the lines too straight. Gives it more character, I find. It's board and batten. And we have a sign up here. And a little window, or not a window, a vent right here. Crisscross windows. It's a steel roof, but you don't notice it. That kind of got a bit of a curve in it for some reason. Okay, there's it so far. So it's just after a while you can judge your angles, but use a ruler till you get used to it, till you can see the perspective yourself. But if you want straight lines for buildings like in a cityscape, then use your ruler. You're welcome. Thanks, EB. So next week, we'll see what you guys have any questions. And then maybe, let's think. We can get into people, drawing faces. Under a blanket? Are you cold, Janet? So how about faces and bodies next week? So proportions and that type of thing. The basics of body proportions. It helps you draw realistically, or if you want to draw imaginary people, you know, the pretty girls types of things. How about Vikings? You can draw a Viking too, Judy. All right. So it's just a matter of practice, you guys. But I hope this gives you the basic tools to draw this type of thing if you want. But it does help you in all areas of drawing. It doesn't matter if it's flowers or people, scenery, landscapes, buildings. It'll all help. Ragna, I already drew Ragna. Didn't you see that, Judy? I'm sure I showed it to you. Where is it? Ragna Lothbrok. or whatever his name is. Oh, I gotta clean this place up. It's getting bad. Yeah. Where is he? There. There he is. Your next ex-husband. Yeah, he was a good one. He's got that look, eh? That actor plays such a good role. But I had to find a photo of that look he gave everybody. I liked my ear. I think the ear turned out cool. All right, so next week I'll show you how to do the faces. Paul Newman eyes, yeah. You know who has beautiful eyes is that new series, The Prodigal Son. Oh man, he's so good looking. So that's it. So we'll see you next week. I'll probably put up a couple videos that aren't streams. I'm not sure what to do, but I know next Friday is the Great Pumpkin Challenge, and I did a video for that one. That's on Friday, next Friday. So we'll see you we'll see you tonight at Beth's or somewhere. You have a good weekend, everybody, and do your homework. Gotta practice if you want to get better at drawing. I'll see you all later.